Hello everyone, hopefully in the right session. My name is Steve. I'm the head of developer relations here at Relic. Some of you, seems like some of you heard about Relic before, but if you don't, Relic is a pure software service offering that we provide engineers full stack monitoring and observability. Another one people say is you deploy in production first, then you see what's going on. So it's usually people come to us. But that's not the topic what I'm doing today. Today I'm going to talk about 5 very hard, very painful lessons that I've learned when I took on DevRel and managed a team right here. And I'm going to share with you 5 different lessons right here. So before we continue on, okay, so there's a delay in my screen. Okay, so what you see right here, you can take a photo. For people in the back, you might not see my presentation slide, but I'll give you an opportunity for you to scan this QR code. So this is available to you publicly. So you can see if this doesn't work, so you can see right there. So I'll give you some time to actually see that. Or you just want to take that picture. That's my 3rd favorite food in Japan. It's soba. My 2nd one is ramen. If you tell me where to eat sukemen, I'll be your best friend for life. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll partner up with you. So as mentioned earlier, so what I do is I actually manage a team of developer relations from West Coast all the way to here. For us, we have 2 different personas. We have developer persona, which we often quite work on, and we have the ops persona, like DevOps engineers and SRE engineers. Okay, so today there are 5 key things I'm going to share with you. Again, this is more feedback and Q&A. Again, I'll admit, I'm not perfect. There are a lot of things that I got right. There are things that I also didn't do very wrong too. Like what Caroline mentioned earlier, I'm glad I got something right. And these are the 5 lessons that I'm going to talk about here. Watch attention, video podcasts, online learning, are you paying attention, and why certain DevRel metrics didn't work for us. So let's just start with the first one. My fellow peers, we are in the war of attention. Whether you like it or not. The reason is because every DevRel engineer is finding a way to find a voice in the online community. Since COVID happened, all of us got stuck in our home. Everybody went to the internet, and everybody is trying to find a voice to actually differentiate, talking about product, building up a community, and a lot of things right there. For us, it's a big shock because a lot of the stuff that we used to build, materials, presentation, everything, gears towards physical event. For us, we're not that great yet in actually finding a way to differentiate online. So that's why I say we are in the war of attention. So the internet became more crowded. It's harder to build community. In fact, community got even tougher because it's not like what it used to be. You can't run physical events a lot, and when you do Google ads, you waste a lot of stuff. You pay a lot of money for Google or whatever ads that you do online to attract people. And during this period, I've seen a lot of DevRel engineers are really creative. Maybe you have a very fancy background, like a studio. Maybe you have some very interesting opening. Or maybe you just do things a different way. We're all finding attention. First, in my team, what I do is I make sure when we build content, workshop, or speaking of events, we make sure that we have very clear objectives. In fact, my team, I always say when we do practice, when we do content, within 5 minutes, you got to tell someone, why should I pay attention to you? You've got to be crystal clear with that because everybody is fighting for attention. So for us, we have very clear objective when we create content or whatever we do, clear objective, and why should you care? You should care because of this. For example, even this talk, you should care because this is a hard-learned lesson so that you either can learn or you can avoid in the future. And what value you're going to get. Everybody has a developer tool and platform nowadays. You either have an SDK or API, what value you're going to get. One thing I also want to do a bit better is we don't want to wait for how-to guides and resources available at the end of the presentation or workshop. If you notice, I gave you up front. This is what we do right here in my team right there. So in the war of attention, what we do is I have a very simple framework that I also train my team in because I used to manage a Toastmaster club too myself. So in my team, I train you on public speaking. And I wanted something that's very easy that people can use in writing and in public speaking. And the framework that we use is PREP. So what's that? Point, reason, example, point. It's pretty simple. Every engineer, any person that's new to the team or even different knowledge, they could actually adopt that really simple. I think in writing content, public speaking, whatever you need, PREP. Point, reason, example, point. The second one is I want to talk about is podcasts. I haven't met a DevRel engineer that doesn't have some form of video presence or podcast yet. Everybody has a way of doing it. In fact, today, this conference, I already see some of you taking videos, maybe doing some live stream, posting in Twitter. There you go, it's already like that already. For us, it didn't really work very well. I'll tell you why. The reason is because in a lot of lessons I'm presenting to you and sharing with you is more in the Asian context because I didn't manage this team. And let me tell you why video streaming didn't really work first. We adopted big time, like many of you, StreamYard. Whatever software you can find on the internet to do streaming, we try to evaluate too. And we went big on StreamYard. StreamYard, especially to be more specific, video podcast style chatting on specific technology, actually do quite well in the US and Europe. Not so much in Asia. Partly because of the cultural difference. I'm not saying Asian people, firstly, don't want to talk. It's just that we need some time to warm up and we need trust with you first. For example, if you've ever seen a US podcast, wow, they come online, they talk for 1 hour straight. I never go any podcast in Asia. When I see 1 hour, I give up. I just don't want to spend time. It's just the nature for us, especially for us in Asia. I can say even in my team, sometimes maybe it's just not a thing. And that's a hard lesson I have to learn. And I have to gently say, hey, we don't want to do a podcast. Because I know podcast is hard. You go out, you show speaker, you get sponsorship, you get dedicated time, you plan content. We didn't get the results. And especially now, you need to show some results. So what we did is, we pivoted into small, short videos. I like to call it, we are in a TikTok generation right now. You probably find your coding solution in TikTok. What a time indeed, huh? But that's what the community and engineers has evolved. So what we did is right now is we now create more shorter videos to solve specific problems. Not only we notice our view rate got better, our engagement rate also got better right there. The good thing about small, short video is easy to create, easy to edit, and easy to distribute. And especially for my fellow visitors, if you're in another country, I can tell you for us in Asia, we don't read emails, sorry. We look at Line, we look at WeChat, we look at WhatsApp, all the fancy, beautiful email template, we don't read it. That's the harsh reality of it. Like some people that I know, even in Jakarta, Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia, some group, even in Japan, some group are created inside those chat community which you cannot track. That's a problem if you want to do metrics. So how do you do? So first, we use video as a bridge, as a way to get to communicate with those communities, and we actually have a way of tracking them quite nicely. First, we're a big fan of those small videos because they could go very well with chat apps. So what do we use? I'm personally a big fan of Loom. If you haven't heard before, you can Google relatively quick. Loom, YouTube, Cloud Apps, those are really good tools that you should use right there. I'm actually one of the very first users of Loom in New Relic. I'm responsible also getting the company to buy it. That's why I asked about business case. So I'm partly therefore right here. I'm great. I'll tell you how I use it. Here's an example. Coming right there. Here's an example of me just talking about a certain thing in a certain platform, a specific persona type. What I like about small videos is it's much easier for me to do audience segregation. I can identify what specific use case. I can look at how many people look at it, view it, engagement rate, completion rate. It's a bit more targeted. Well, if let's say I need to do a podcast, the drop rate just drops usually after 15 minutes or more. So that's why even my guys, I have to be very mindful of the time they spend if they create content like this. So this is an example for me using tools right there. Another one, my third lesson that I definitely can share is online learning. Since COVID and even right now, online learning, even for us, remains really, really high. But again, if you probably noticed, the hint that I given to you is people are not interested in long session or you just do theory talk. In fact, we actually got a lot of feedback. People actually want the way that you change certain things. The number one feedback, and I really like what Caroline mentioned earlier, people want hands-on. In my team, we create hands-on first, not fancy content first. We don't create tagline first, we create what the technology needs to do. Now for us, especially for my organization, can say for us in Relic, it makes a lot of sense. Because you got to understand, engineers that traditionally use us, they build systems, like reliable systems, like concepts like SRE, site reliability engineering, and reliable systems. Those systems are hard to build. You need some hands-on experience to really learn those concepts. So what we do right here in our region, here in Asia, we're quite good at creating hands-on workshop right there. So what we did right there is we pivoted a mix of enablement, advocacy, workshop, and we love to build hands-on lab. What did we use? I'll talk a bit more. So why we love hands-on lab? Because I can give you a link, you can learn anytime. And most engineers, software engineers to be more specific, you're active at night. You're like vampires, literally. In daytime, when you come to workshop like this, you don't pay attention. We know that. We are aware of that. So that's why we like to do hands-on lab, and we just give you a link, you can learn anytime. First, in my team, what we do, we embrace just-in-time learning, JIT learning. I really doubt the days where, let's say you go for a CCNA certification, you're going to spend a whole week or month. I know, if let's say I have an error rate in Redis, I need to just find a way how to fix it. I don't have time to learn the whole Redis thing. So, what we do, we embrace hands-on workshop, and workshop is actually really good for content creation too, because I can cherry pick wherever I feel that's right. I can reinforce that content as my workshop, and then my workshop, I can reinforce that content too. First, we even go to the next step. We do hybrid engagement. So like this, like what you see, we have people coming on site, you see, we have people joining remotely, and what we do is every time when we go through a hybrid engagement, we have a room, we have at least must 3 people. One speaker, focus on speaking, one on-site support, one support remotely. So the question is, what do we use to build our hands-on lab? I don't think we have anyone from AWS, Google, or GCP here, right? Okay, sorry to say. We use Instruct, sorry. Yeah, we just don't want to deal with IAM, that's it. Why? Virtual machine is the best. Simple. Like a container, you dump everything, forget. Container, cool, still have to tweak a bit, but virtual machine is the best. The good thing about virtual machine is the cost is predictable. At least I can say that. So we use Instruct and we use that, and we don't, I'm not saying we don't do the local deployment, we don't give the binaries to it, but the problem is if M1 chip, Intel chip, this, that, too hard. And people even don't know how to do down Docker binary. So here's an example. What you see right here on the left-hand side, that's a workshop that I ran recently with our team Japan right here. So we have engineers locally here, but we also run DevRel activities right here. Here's an example what you see in the middle, where we're doing a hybrid engagement where you have a main presenter on the front. It doesn't get distracted with questions or how do I install this part. And also you can see right here on the right-hand side is we have a lot of support right there, and we're a big fan of using on-demand self-learning on your free pace right there. Here's an example with our team Japan. In fact, I'm very proud to say our Japan team, the way how they do DevRel is the best at what we've seen in Asia, and I'm trying to emulate and follow what they do in Team Japan. First and foremost, they have user group based on different persona. You know DevOps engineer and SRE engineer, they're different. Most people count them together. You know software engineer is also different. Again, people count them together, but they're actually very different persona. As you can see right here, we have good kids, like full-blown production studio type of kit, and Shumizu San right here actually leads our local chapter here. But also we use community meetup as a way of form of learning. Yes, we have long-form learning that you can attend any session, but we also use meetup not only just talking about certain technology, but also learning on certain teams. In fact, our team in Japan is probably the best, and I always give them credit because they even have a logo. And what is called Data Nyan. So Nyan is cat in Japanese, so that's Data Cat right there, what you see. So they even have a logo. Even I'm trying to create my own logo to represent each logo in each region right there. So as mentioned, our team here is the best. The fourth one is, are you listening? As we transition out into a post-COVID world, the reality is sometimes people just want to come virtual. You just want to do virtual. You just have to accept that fact. I wish we had as much budget as what we do in the past. We can do big events, but the reality is has changed. You have to get used to that. So for us, what we definitely can say, and I will acknowledge this very painfully, is most online sessions is dull and boring. It's very hard to gauge interest. I can't see in front of you and say, hey, are you paying attention or you're just sleeping off? Let's be very frank. When you go to an online session, what do? You mute and you do something. Am I right? And that's also not the best use of our engineers' time because they put so much effort into it. So what we do is we adopted gamification, and everything that I do, especially from workshop, if you have workshop opportunity to come, I always do gamification on the back end. What are 3 platforms that I usually look at? Mentimeter. If you're very new to this concept, go with Mentimeter. It's free, up to 5 questions, unlimited users. It's actually quite good if you have a relatively small crowd. Kahoot, most people heard about it, probably the most mature out of all. My personal preference is Aha Slide. Why? You can smash that emoji. Smash, 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 smash. The Asian people like that. Love it, love it, love it, love it. That's why I'm a big fan of Aha Slides. So for me, gamification for me is a way for me to say thank you so much for attending, and I use gamification as a form of enablement. For example, if you get the wrong answers wrong, I'll tell you why is it wrong, or something like that. So here's an example. Again, I practice what I preach. Here on the left-hand side right here, Team Japan, after they ran to a workshop, especially for internal workshop, I'm very strict with them. Customer workshop usually, I'm pretty okay. So you can see they're running the workshop. In the middle there, that's actually Aha Slides. I actually fall in love with the tool when I was in Kubernetes Community Days Jakarta. And you can see once something wins, actually can celebrate. Sometimes maybe I'll give a special shout out or something or gift or some sort of appreciation token that, hey, thank you so much for paying attention. You're learning something overweight, and thank you so much for giving us the 1 hour or 20 minutes right here. The last one I really want to talk, and I'm going to dedicate most of my time right here, is for me, I'm an avid student like most of you. I go to a lot of talks, I read a lot of books, I try my best to find the secret sauce, the secret metrics, the secret framework. I'm not that smart, and I didn't get a lot of things right. Maybe sake is not enough, maybe I didn't go onsen, maybe I didn't go meditation, but what I've definitely said from my personal experience is a lot of metrics didn't just work, sometimes for a lot of reasons. Sometimes you want to measure certain things, bunch of cuts, attrition, especially for people managers here. Now try to retain that team is very hard. And sometimes you might have the perfect metrics, but your organization might not have the maturity, might not have the understanding to understand what metrics that they do. So it's a bi-directional thing. Sometimes not having metrics only one thing, but also it has to come the other way. So as mentioned earlier, I know a lot of the metrics that you do right here. In fact, I also do my best to actually correlate and showcase value what our team we do, either from an advocacy, from a community, or business point of view right there. Quite often, around days, you get often distracted with very hard challenges, often they're not technical. So for me, what I did right here is I took the opportunity to actually reevaluate and refit, and really going back to basics right there. For me, the quote I really love is by Kelsey Hightower. If you've never heard about this name before, he's actually one of the original Kubernetes advocate before he joined Google and started developing Kubernetes on top of it. I really like because it's very easy, and I also tell this to my team, you need to understand hello world, hello impact, and hello revenue. Simple. Yes, we create content and workshop that's as simple as hello world, first principle, and we go up. We don't assume engineers just because you're SRE, you know what is SLI and SLO. You probably hate it. But we don't assume that you know all this stuff. We teach you the fundamentals, but also I get my team also to understand the impact of the work. How does it help things like sales and marketing, and how everything relates back to revenue. The second one that I do is I've noticed a theme in this workshop is, Japan is different. This is different. I'm sorry to say, when I'm in Singapore, the countries that surrounded me also have the same problem. Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, they all have language barrier too. So for me, what I did is I followed the principle that what Y Combinator preach is what I call team market fit. Based on the team, I will actually adjust and readjust again based on the region and skill set and the maturity of that technology will be. For example, Team Japan said to me, PHP is number 1 here. In other regions I work with, people don't touch PHP anymore. In where I often operate, which is Indonesia and India, Indonesia, Golang is on the rise, big time, right? So I have to kind of see which region and which team I have fit the strategy around it. And what I do is I adopt and help the engineers to adopt the organization need. DevRel is a double-edged sword. It's very flexible, but it's a hybrid role, but also sometimes very hard to actually define value proposition to. If let's say you're a software developer, or you are an account executive or sales engineer, your KPI is very well defined. black and white, yes or no. DevRel is kind of here and neither there. You can do advocacy, you can do development, you can do a bit of everything. And therefore, especially right now, it's quite a tough time where many people still figure out their value proposition. So what I did is, and I dare say is most people will fall what I call 3 different buckets with this buzzword that you see right here. Audience-led growth, product-led growth, buzzword bingo, sales-led growth right there. For me, I came from sales-led growth. Where we usually see sales-led growth in more mature organizations. Usually it's listed thousands of employees. While audience-led growth usually is like you're new in the startup, you're new in the region. Product-led growth is the hottest buzzword right now. You build product good enough that it just sells itself and something like that, right? What I think, and this is what I do in my team, is I understand which engineer or which region needs what, and you tweak the strategy according to the need, and you put the right measurement at the right time. For us here in Japan, especially what the Japan team is doing, they're more closer now to product-led growth because they've been spending 1 to 2 years on building audience-led growth. If you're new to this market, you're probably going to spend most of the time on the left-hand side right here called audience-led growth, where your metrics are a bit more straightforward. On the right hand, what you see with sales-led growth, this is much more mature. You see larger organizations, sometimes DevRel get brought into a specific deals because the developer don't want to speak to sales and marketing. So you just need to understand the dynamics, how you do. And what I do like sometimes is each quarter, each week, sometimes even each region, I know what particular area or time I need to tweak around it. And therefore, it really helps elevate and amplify the value that what DevRel can actually provide in your organization. This one, I eventually kind of created this by my own based on different things what I saw in an organization. Again, this is just an idea. If you feel that's right, go for it, but also feel free to tweak whatever you feel that's right for your organization. So as mentioned, just a quick recap before we go into the Q&A. The war attention, I already talked a lot. We're all part of this. I'll share already what works for us. Video podcasts for Ireland, short videos the best. Online learning, hands-on lab for us, everything. Are you listening? We're big advocates of gamification, and for us, we have to tweak a lot of things that we see outside to make sure that we work as well for us. With that, thank you so much. If you want to connect with me, that's my QR code in LinkedIn. You can actually just scan it, just add me. Happy to connect with you. If you have any questions, feel free to add me too, or just email me directly. Thank you so much. My name is Steve. Thank you.